Yo, what's the deal? Hey, check it out. So I'm gonna make a little video right now telling you guys about HEX, why it's really important. Hey, not financial advice, but it's really important that you get in before the 19th of November. 19th of November come around, it's gonna be the big payday. If you guys are new, you don't know what the big payday is. Pretty much the big payday is a cryptocurrency, HEX, which is a cryptocurrency, and they're paying out right now it's about over $2 billion worth of HEX, worth of this cryptocurrency that's being paid out to the stakeholders only. So the people that have HEX and they staked it before the big payday, they're gonna have some extra HEX coming there in their wallet, pretty much. So yeah, this is pretty much like it's coming. You know, a lot of people have been waiting for this day, and I don't think really people understand what's about to happen. Like, and it's not even the big payday alone, but this is pretty much the launch period. You know, that's pretty much ending. Like the launch period started December 2nd, at December 2nd, 2019, and pretty much this launch period is about to end in pretty much about a week. You know, so yeah, it's pretty crazy. And what's gonna happen is these shares. Now, if you're familiar with HEX, then you know about these T shares. The T shares that you'll see when you stake your HEX, you'll see the T shares, and right now for one T share, it costs about like 11,000 HEX, right, for one T share, and the T share stands for trillion shares. So for one T share, it's about 11,000 HEX. Through people's speculations and graphs or whatever, it's estimated that that's going to jump up pretty high, after the big payday. So right now it's sitting at 11,000 on the big payday, the day of. Who knows, maybe it might be 15,000 or so, but then the day after, that's when it's going to spike up, because you have a lot of stakes ending that day. So but why does the t-shirt go up is because pretty much when somebody takes profit, when their stake ends, you can't get the same value. Well, you can't, your T-shares will never be worth the same. The value of the T-shares always goes up when the stake ends. So being that all these stakes are ending around that big payday day, it's like, like a day or 2 or 3 days after the big payday, is like a lot of stakes that are done. And you'll be able to see it if you go to not go.hex.com. That's pretty much where you'll stake it. But hex.vision. If you go to hex.vision, that's when you'll see all these stakes ending. There's a few graphs that you're able to watch, that you're able to observe and see all these stakes ending in those 3 days. Pretty much like the week of the big payday is like a whole bunch of stakes coming out. So that's gonna make the stake price go higher, and it's gonna be way harder to get a T-share, and what that T-share is it tells you how much interest you're gonna get per day for HEX, because right now the rate of how many HEX you get for one T-share is about 4.7 HEX. Okay, so now if you have 10 T-shares, that's 47. No, if you have 10 T-shares, that's, I can't even do math right now. That's 40. That's almost 50 HEX. Yeah, well, 47 HEX actually. Yes, 47 HEX. So it's just crazy on what you're able to get as of now, right? For what the price is. But now when that price jumps up for how much HEX it is per T-share, then it's not going to be so easy to get 47 HEX for 10 T-shares. You're going to have to pay more. You're going to have to pay double, because the price of HEX is always going to go up, right? And if the price doesn't even go up, it's still going to cost you more to get a T-share, because if instead of 11,000 T-share, 11,000 HEX to get a T-share, and it jumps up to say 25,000 HEX to get a T-share, now that 47 HEX per day that you would get for the daily payout is going to be less with the same amount of money as it is now. You see, I know it's kind of hard, if you're new, you just got to watch a lot of videos and really understand it, or go to hex.com to find out all the information about it. But if you're in Hex, then you most likely know what I'm talking about, and you heard about this, and if you haven't heard about how valuable t-shirts are, well, I suggest you pretty much look into it even further, instead of just what I'm telling you, because that right there, the value of a t-shirt is going to be crazy, so you have that, right? And right now it's about I believe it's about 10 million t-shirts. It's about 10 million t-shirts, right? And how many hex there is in circulation or total? It's like about 400 billion right now, 400 billion. And I believe after the big payday, it should be like around like 600 billion or something like that. I believe that's where it caps off. I'm not really too sure. And then after that, every year after, it's an inflation rate of the total supply of 3.69%. So as you can see, the comparison from Hex to a T-share is pretty great, because you have something that inflates, which is the Hex over time. The Hex inflates right now is rapidly inflating because of this big payday period. You have a lot of people and also the adoption amplifier. You have a lot of Hex being minted every day. You have 500 million, actually 1 billion Hex being minted every day. You have 500 that goes to the origin address, 500 million, and then you have 500 million going to the people that mint their coins through the adoption amplifier. So you have 1 billion Hex being minted every day. So this inflation period, this rapid inflation period, is not going to happen for that much longer. After the big payday, is not going to inflate that much, but it still is going to inflate. So that's the Hex side. But now with the T-share side, your shares is deflationary. It's always going to decrease. Your shares, the total share amount in Hex is always going to decrease. Reason being is because it's going to take more Hex to get T-shares. That's number one. But also because your T-shares, it pretty much you burn your T-shares when you end the stake. You see what I mean? You burn your T-shares when you end the stake. So after like about like 2 weeks or so after the big payday, right now we're sitting at about, like I said, 10 point something million T-shares. About 2 weeks after the big payday, it's gonna be about like 8.6 million T-shares. So it's gonna decrease that much just after the big payday, right? 2 weeks after the big payday. Why is gonna do that? Because a lot of people, they want to get, like, a lot of people are just in it for the big payday. They thinking that's where they're gonna seek like the best results, not knowing that staking long term is where you're gonna seek the best results. So that's why so many stakes are ending around that time, So yeah, it's pretty crazy. And I have one stake, I have one stake out of my staking ladder that comes out after the big payday, because you never know what's gonna happen. I'm not saying the price is gonna jump $1, but hey, you never know. So I'd rather have a little small tiny bag, of like 20,000 Hex, or with the big payday bonus, a total of 40,000 Hex come out on the big payday, and then sell it. You know what I mean? That small bag. But if it goes up to $1, then imagine what's gonna happen in a few years. You see what I mean? That's why I only have one little small bag. I don't believe that I'm gonna seek that much profit for the big payday. So I had stakes ending on the big payday, and I ended those. I emergency end staked those so I can stake it out longer, because it's more beneficial for me longer, because I'm gonna collect that daily payout longer. You see what I mean? I'm gonna get more interest, because I know that on the big payday, and that's another thing too. On the big payday, even if you want to sell, like even if you want to sell, there's gonna be so many people selling that the price is gonna drop. I believe the price is gonna drop pretty good, like maybe 85%. After the big payday, like a few days, like from maybe the day of the big payday, and then maybe about it may linger for like 2 or 3 days the most, because there's gonna be a lot of people that want to scoop up that cheap hex. So a lot of people, they're gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna get all this hex on the big payday, I'm gonna cash out. Yeah, but you have that in mind. That's your plan, but plans don't go the way it's planned. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Say for example, if it goes to $1, let's say for example it goes to $1. You know how many people that got their big payday bonus that's gonna want to sell that, right? They're gonna want to sell that. That price is gonna drop. It's gonna drop fast, and then it's still gonna be people with bags from the big payday that are like, oh damn, like now I want the 50 cent. And then you're gonna have other people, oh damn, and now I want the 30 cents. Now I want the 1 cent. Now it's at 0.006. They're not gonna want to sell because they got in. That price is gonna be lower than what they got in at. Because say for example, right now it's 0.00, it's 0.009 right now, right? A shade under a penny, right? So if you get in now, and say for example, when a big payday comes out, that price drops all the way to 0.006 instead of 0.009, nobody like that person isn't going to sell unless they think that the price is going to drop even further and it's going to go to zero, and they want to cut their losses, and take what they got. There's going to be people like that as well. But for the believers, they're going to be like, oh, like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, it dropped to 0.006. I'm not going to sell what I got. If they have bags coming out on the big payday, I'm talking about the believers. If they have bags coming out on the big payday, I'm pretty sure they have like longer stakes as well. But say, for example, they do, and it goes to like freaking 0.006 or something like that, they're not going to sell. They're going to buy. I'm not saying that's going to factually, but most people, they're going to be like, yo, this price is low, I'm going to buy. That's what I just did just now. The price over the weekend, right now is November 10th, November 9th, which is yesterday, Monday, I believe. Yeah, Monday. The price was like 0.007, and I bought it at that. I'm like, hey, if I get the price that low, I'm gonna get it before the big payday. And you may ask, why? All right, why would I get it right now when I could get it after the big payday for even cheaper? Well, I wouldn't do that because the price of, remember how I said the T-shares are going to be more expensive. So I want to rack up as much T-shares that I can right now. You see what I mean? If I was to get, listen, if I was to get $100 worth of hex that cost, if I was to pay $100 for hex that cost 0.006 versus after the big payday, right? 0.006 after the big payday. If I was to pay $100 for that versus paying $100 for hex that's worth 0.007 or even 0.009 for what it is right now, like right now before the big payday, I'm not getting a better deal for 0.006 because of the stakes. The cost of a T-share is going to be higher. So even though the price is cheaper, then this is still a better deal to get it now. You see what I mean? So there's a lot of factors to really understand. There's a lot of factors to understand dealing with this big payday. So like I said, that's what I did. I ended my stakes that I had coming out on a big payday, and I staked it. I took the same hex and I staked it for longer instead of having it come out the day after the big payday or the day of the big payday. I staked it for longer. I staked it. I believe I emergency unstaked 150,000 hex or 130,000 hex or something like that. And that was worth, I believe, like 8 T-shares or 8 to 10 T-shares. I staked it out. I believe I split it up like 10 to 13 years in the future. And I can't do the math on my head. It's on my computer, but I got back like 28 T-shares for staking it out even further. So, that's not financial advice. Do what you want. But for the people that are coming in thinking they're going to seek a quick buck, it may happen, I wouldn't rule it out. It may happen, but taking a gamble, you know? Now, say for example, if you are in it to get a quick buck, you could do that. You could have your stuff come out, but then just hold it, right? Hold it after and don't sell it when the price drops to see if the price go up again, or you could restake it. But when you restake it, you're shooting yourself in the foot, because you could have kept your stake longer if you would have did it before the big payday. You would have got more T shares, you know? You would have had more interest in the long term. But that's just a backup. That's a plan B. That could be it. Like, hey, I don't recommend ending early. And, you know, whatever I recommend, it really doesn't matter because this isn't financial advice. But I don't recommend ending early. But if I rather prefer staking longer. But if you were to end early, I would say to wait it out and then restake it, you know, after, if it doesn't go as you planned it to go. I wouldn't sell it, you know. But hey, man, that's pretty much what's going on. Let me see what else I could touch on. There was something I wanted to talk about too regarding the T shares. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know about any T-shirts, but anything else with the T-shirts. But pretty much, yeah, you just pretty much want to put it out there. Now, if you've been in Hex for a few months already, you got to tell your peoples about it. You know, tell whoever you know, and just, hey, like, you know, there's this thing going on. It's called Hex. You got this thing called the Big Payday. You know, you could stake your coins. The first cryptocurrency. Not the first cryptocurrency to stake your coins, but it's more certificate of deposit, you know. So you know, it kind of runs like a bank, you know. Like you could end stake your coins like a certificate of deposit. You could emergency end stake it, but you have to pay a fee, you know. So there's a lot of cryptos out where you can stake your coins, you know, like even like on the exchange, like Kraken, like you can stake Polkadot or something like that. But you can end stake it anytime you want. You know, there's no type of fee. It's not really staking, and the rewards aren't as high. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the unique thing about Hex. So yeah, you know, if there's people that you know, like say for example, I'm an entrepreneur. Like I'm a self-employed type of person. You know, I'm not saying that I would never have a job again, like a traditional job, but it's unlikely that's you know, that's something that I want to do. Like it's unlikely that will happen, right? Unless unless it's needed. You know, I'm not gonna say it'll never happen, but you know, that's something that I try to avoid. But I'm not an employee type of person. I'm not a you know, a career person with a pension and stuff like that. Looking for some type of, you know, career job. So I got to look out for what happens after. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people that are self-employed, you know, entrepreneurs, it's not like they have pension plans and stuff like that. And, you know, like, you know, I got this retirement plan for my job and stuff like that. You know, a lot of entrepreneurs don't have that luxury unless you're paying out of pocket, you know, full 100% for your 401k or something, you know. Because I know, like, I'm not really too knowledgeable about that, but I believe, like, the employees match that. You know what I'm saying? So you're able to get, you know, a bigger payout for your 401k. And when you retire, but then again, you have to pay for it. So how many years? Like the whole time you're employed, you know what I'm saying? But with Hex, if you don't have a retirement plan or something, you're an entrepreneur, you're self-employed, and you kind of want to back up, you know, for 15 years in the future, if things don't go as planned, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a hustle, you know. When you're an entrepreneur, it's like, you know, it's not guaranteed that things are going to go your way, and if you want some type of, like, you know, safety net, and it's not a guaranteed safety net, you know, but it is a safety net, you know what I'm saying? I'd rather jump off a building falling into I see a safety net there, but it has rust on the sides. I'd rather fall into that than to jump into no safety net, you know what I'm saying? Than to jump on the concrete pavement, you know? That safety net might break, but hey, like, I'd rather jump into that safety net. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm thinking about Hex. Is like, you know, it's not a guarantee that things are going to go as way as plans as for Hex, but looking into the project, it looks really good. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you have to do your own research to see. But you kind of want to have something, you know, especially if you're self-employed. You know, if you're a freelancer and all those type of things, you know, you wanna have something just in case things don't go as planned. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, depending on what the price goes to, depending on, you know, how much your stakes are worth, your t-shirts are worth, how many t-shirts you have at the time, how much hex you gained from your interest and all that type of stuff. It's gonna depend on how your and also how far you stake your stakes, you know, how far your stakes are out, opposed to it being out for a shorter period of time. It's gonna depend on how much you're gonna get back, and you know, as far as a US dollar profit, you know, because the profit, the interest on your hex is guaranteed. That's a guaranteed thing. That's in the contract. That's in the white paper. It's in the code. You're guaranteed to get the interest of hex that is telling you. Besides the big payday is pretty much spread out among the stakers. That's pretty much based on the amount of people that stake. That's a whole other topic, right? But it really doesn't matter. That's just a small thing of the whole hex system. The big payday is a little small thing. It's just so big because it's like, you know, it's a marketing thing, right? But the real value from hex comes from the interest. But your interest, your interest is guaranteed. Your interest is guaranteed. Like I said, it's in the code. But what's not guaranteed is the price of the hex. You know what I'm saying? And what's not guaranteed is the US dollar value of your hex in the future. You know, after your stakes is ended. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. That's the only thing that could, I guess, from the rest, like I was saying before, the rest of the on the side of the safety nets and stuff like that, that could be the only thing that's pretty much the rest is the price of hex in the future. You know, so because right now, you know, the price from the time it launched, I don't have the math in front of me, but it did over 150x, 220x from the all-time low. The all-time low was like January 3rd, January 5th. If you look it up on nomics.com, it'll show what the price was January 3rd, January 5th. And then just go to the all-time high date. The all-time high date was like, I think, October 31st or October 30th or something like that. Look at those two dates. And I'm talking about 2020 for the year. Look at those dates and look how much it jumped. Excuse me. So that's what it did this year. You see what I mean? And you know, the price dropped a little bit. Right now we're sitting at, like I said, a shade under a penny at 0.009. But this is still before the big payday. The price is gonna go up. It's gonna go up before the big like the day of the big payday. It's gonna go up by then. I have predicted that will go up to like a penny and a half. I guess that's kind of conservative, but it's more realistic for me, just from me thinking about it. But a lot of other people, they're saying 3 cents. A lot of people are saying 7 cents. One guy said $7. I really don't see it going $7. If it goes to $7, then it's going to be a lot of I would say billionaires born that day if they were able to sell in time. It's like I said, there's going to be a lot of people rushing to go to sell. Now let me touch on this. So a lot of people saying, well, how come I won't be able to sell in time? Like, well, why is that? Like, does it close or anything? Like, no, like what's going to happen is all right. Now there's liquidity, right? And like, if you wanted to sell your hex, you'll have to do it off an exchange, right? So you have to do it off an exchange such as Uniswap, like a decentralized exchange's Uniswap or Mooniswap, or there may be a few other exchanges where you're able to sell it off of, right? But now the highest liquidity in any of our exchanges that we have hex on is Uniswap, right? And I believe right now the liquidity, like I said, I don't have the math in front of me, but it's like, I think like 7 million in liquidity, 7 million. And now you have to match it. So I believe it's 7 million hex and 7 million Ethereum or something like that. I'm not really too sure. But anyways, when people sell, that liquidity, let's say, for example, they sell HEX, right? If somebody sells HEX, now they are getting ETH from that liquidity pool. Because in Uniswap, you have to deposit. Say, for example, if I wanted to provide liquidity, or if I want to provide a way for people to sell, essentially, or people to buy HEX, essentially, then I have to provide Ethereum and I have to provide HEX, right? I have to provide both. I have to match it. And that's called the liquidity pool. So in that liquidity pool, the more HEX you add, the more ETH you add, the more value that liquidity pool has. Now, say, for example, somebody wants to sell their HEX, right? If somebody wants to sell their HEX, then there's going to be more HEX going into the liquidity pool. But if they sell it for ETH, then that means that there's going to be ETH coming out of that liquidity pool, right? Now, if everybody sells their HEX, well, not everybody because it's impossible, but if a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of whales sell their HEX, say, for example, there's like 3 billion in a liquidity pool and there's 3 billion people that sold their HEX, you have 3 billion HEX now extra that's in the liquidity pool. And then you have $3 billion of ETH that's out, because that's if that was the method that they chose to get paid out was ETH, then now there's no ETH in the liquidity pool, unless people start buying HEX again and they start buying, they buy it with ETH, and then now there's more ETH in the liquidity pool. You see what I mean? So that's what I mean by there's not going to be it's not going to be enough liquidity for everybody to buy, you know, and people really, I guess they don't know that. And that's not with just HEX. That's with every cryptocurrency. Now, HEX doesn't have like super liquidity. Is not like an Ethereum, or it's not like a Bitcoin or well, Bitcoin really wouldn't count because it's not in Uniswap, but it's not as like a wrap Bitcoin or is not you know, there's a whole bunch of other coins like a Uni token or whatever. It doesn't have that much liquidity as those. But it still has a decent amount for Uniswap. I'm talking about, you know, like I think it's like number 5 in liquidity or something. But it's still not enough for everybody to sell, for everybody to get. And when I say everybody to sell, I don't mean forever. I'm talking about on the big payday and a few days after the big payday. For everybody to get their bags from the big payday and want to sell is not happening unless I don't know. I really don't know. I may correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, in the comments down below. But unless they're still able to sell at a lower and lower and lower and lower and lower price, but it's still impossible. I really don't know why it's impossible. I just know it's impossible. I watched the video of them explaining it. Sorry for the not valuable information on this part, but it's not possible for everybody to sell. So it is not possible for the price to go to zero, right? But now, say for example, if now the origin address, right? Let's go to the origin address. Now the origin address, they have so much ETH and so much HEX, because when people use the adoption amplifier, the AA, to mint their tokens, they're putting in ETH. So they get an ETH from that, right, from the AA, and also they get a copy, like I said, 500 billion, there's 500 million coins being minted every day, and the OA, the origin address, they get a copy of that 500 million. So pretty much there's a billion, half goes to the stakers, well, not stakers, but the people that put their ETH in the AA, and the other half goes to the origin address. So the origin address is getting ETH and HEX that way. So if the OA has all that, HEX and Ethereum, they could easily be a liquidity provider for Uniswap. Now, the good thing and this, I'm not really too knowledgeable about this part either, but the good thing about having a low liquidity is that the price is able to go higher, easier, I believe, or stay stable, I believe. I'm not really too sure. Maybe not stay stable. I just even forget I said that. Just do your research on that part yourself. But there's pros and cons to having a lot of liquidity. Now, though, they could provide liquidity if they wanted to, because they have all that. So I don't believe that this project would even if it could go to zero. I don't even think it can, but if it could, I don't even think it would, because the OA could provide so much liquidity where people are able to buy and sell. You know what I'm saying? So that right there, if that's somebody's worries, I really wouldn't even worry about that. I had those worries too. That's why I know, and I did the research on it. You know what I'm saying? If you have the worries, and do the research on it. And that's why I know about that, because I did the research. And maybe I'm not too clear about it, you know what I'm saying? But I kind of got a general idea about it. So that's the thing with the liquidity, you know? And, who knows what's going to happen. But I think it's going to be really good, And like I said, when that price drops, it's going to be a lot of people buying. And like I said, even though I'm going to get, and everybody else is going to get less T-shares if they buy after the big payday, that price goes down. Oh, man, I'm still buying. I'm still buying HEX after the big payday. I still want to increase my stake just because even so, this is for people that are new, that are watching this video after the big payday. Even if the price drops, right? Or even if it's not even if it drops, but even if it's more harder to get a T-share, that doesn't mean listen, if the price is good, if it's affordable for you to buy HEX, then buy HEX. You see what I mean? Because it doesn't matter, because you're still gonna get interest. So it's not like if you stake after, or if you buy HEX after the big payday, you're not gonna get any interest. No, you're still gonna get interest. So I mean, you're just not gonna get the big payday. That's the only thing you're missing out on. The only thing you're missing out on with buying HEX after the big payday is missing the big payday and getting a lower rate, getting a lower having to pay more for the same T-share, for one T-share. That's the only thing you're missing out on. Yeah, you'll have to pay more for the same T-share that I paid. You see what I mean? That's the only thing. That's the only thing you're missing out on the big. So if you're new, you're watching this on November 20th, 2020. Hey, it don't matter. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? I would still say you're still early. I would say you're still early, because who knows what this price. We're only talking about T-shirts right now, but who knows what the price is going to go to? You know what I mean? Right now, the price is at 0.009. Listen, if it goes to 50 cents, it's crazy. If it goes to $1, it's bonkers. If it goes to $5, listen, and we're only talking about, right now, we're talking about single-digit dollars. You know what I'm saying? And people are like, oh, well, how can the price go so high when there's a lot of supply? It's 600 billion HEX after the big payday. How can the price go so high when it's 600 billion HEX? Well, the reason why is because a lot of the coins in HEX is locked up. And I wouldn't even say locked up. They're pretty much distinguished. They're burnt. When you stake your HEX, you burn your coins and you get T-shares in return. So if you have 600 billion coins, right, of HEX, say for example, nobody staked yet. There's 600 billion on the market. Nobody staked. It's a free fall. Everybody could get 600 billion coins, right? Right now, everybody could get 600 billion coins. If people scoop up 50% of that and stake it, how many coins are left? 300 billion coins. That's only 50% of the people. Oh, I'm sorry. That's only 50% of the coins that are staked. You know what I mean? So you got to really understand that just because it's a lot of it's a lot of HEX doesn't mean that the price can't be high. How rare that coin is. If imagine if 80% people stake their coins. 80%. I don't know what 80% is of or 20% of 600 is, but 600 billion. Maybe 50 billion. I don't know. Let's say it's 50 billion coins in the market, right? No, it's not 50 billion. I don't know. Let's just say 50 billion, right? It's 50 billion coins on the market. That's low compared to what there should be. If there's 600 coins that was in existence, listen, I can't explain it anymore. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why it doesn't matter, you know? So right now we talked about T-shirts, we talked about price. So if you're new, You're watching this video after the big payday. The big payday is November 19th. You're watching this November 20th, 2020. I would say it's still early. I would say it's still early. There's plenty of cryptocurrencies that started off as $1 and jumped up. It started off as 1 cent and jumped up. Bitcoin, for example. How much is Bitcoin? Now, yeah, okay, Bitcoin has a smaller supply, okay. But pretty much a Bitcoin is pretty much like a T-share. How many Bitcoin is it? It's like about 18 million Bitcoin right now, and it cuts every year. I mean, every 4 years in the halving. And how many T-shares there are? 10 million T-shares with an M. And it's gonna drop to about 8 million or 8.5 million a few days or a couple weeks after the big payday. It's kind of like Bitcoin if you think about it. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty much designed to be like that. Even though the supply of hex is way higher than Bitcoin, the T-shares are kind of identical. You know what I'm saying? So what? Bitcoin started out. You could have got Bitcoin at a penny, right? You could have got Bitcoin at a penny. So if you were able to get Bitcoin at a penny, and what it is right now it's like about 15,400. If it goes up that much, hex is at a penny. You can't say that hex can't even go to $1. You can't say hex won't even go to $5, 10. Yo, hey, you can say hex goes to 100. You can say hex goes to 100. You know, it really depends on the staking and the adoption of it, and also it depends on as well as what cryptocurrency does as a whole. And I believe cryptocurrency in these next years, I believe is gonna boom. I believe, and I'm not just saying that just for wishful thinking, but the way things are, there has to be something new. You know what I'm saying? For some type of, not only for currency, but it has to be like, there's always something new. You know, there's always something new. What ever lasted like 100 years and we're still using it? Like, name one thing that lasted over 100 years that we're still using. That's something that we're still using from the 1800s. Don't say something like the wheel, because we upgraded it. Instead of station wagons, I mean, not station wagons, but those horse wagons, we got cars now. So I'm talking about everything. Like, what's the same? It's always something new. You know what I'm saying? It's always something new. They had to get rid of using gold, right? They had to get rid of using gold and silver. What was new? It was the Federal Reserve notes that backed gold, right? That was the new thing. And then what happened after that? They got away from the something that represent goals, like from that, each note. They got away from that. So the Federal Reserve, you do your research on that. I can't explain it too well. I'm not really too knowledgeable about this, but what I'm saying is true. The Federal Reserve, they stopped backing gold with the dollar, and they just put their trust in God we trust with the dollar. You know what I'm saying? It's the trust of the government. Like, the value is worth your trust in the government. So you went from gold being, you can even go further back, right? To where seashells and stuff like that was a currency, and other little things like you'll find in the woods was a shark tooth was a currency or something. I don't know. But you go from there, from that to gold, to the reserve notes backing gold, to the trust of the government backing the US dollar. What's next? You know what I'm saying? And if those things don't work, if they're not working out, then it has to be something new. And if the people are losing trust in that, in the government, then it has to be something new that there's trust on. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I see cryptocurrency, having that trust. And I'm not saying that cryptocurrency is perfect, because not. You have a lot of bad projects, a lot of scams. You have a lot of cryptos being hacked and stuff like that, exchanges being corrupt. So you have a lot of that too. But the good thing about hex is that it's not about that. It's not about these putting stuff on exchanges so Hex can make money. We don't pay money to get Hex on exchanges. You know what I'm saying? We don't do that. We don't pay influencer YouTube influencers to talk about the coins, you know, to talk about Hex. You know, there's a lot of cryptos that do that type of stuff, you know. So there is a lot of bad projects and a lot of bad apples in the crypto community, but I do believe that right as of now, and like I said, there's going to be a point where crypto goes out of style, right? Crypto isn't even in style yet. It's not even yet, so it's not going to go out of style anytime soon, right? But you know, 50 years, maybe there might be some other thing called Zipto or something, you know, or something using a quantum computer for currency. I don't know. So but as of now though, this is the best option that we have. The government money isn't the best option. Crypto is the best option right now. Now, if there's like a solar flare that, you know, wipes out the satellites or something like that, and there's no more internet, okay, then we can't use crypto. You know what I'm saying? There's no more internet. You know, we gotta use you know, I don't know, we gotta go back to gold or the U.S. government. But that's some science fiction stuff we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And say, for example, the government was to do something, you know, I'm kind of going off a side tangent right now, but the government was to do something like shut down the internet so people won't use crypto, then how long you think people are going to be settled with that? How long you think people are going to be okay with that? Like, hey, okay, government, you could shut down my internet so I can't use crypto. No, it's going to be uprising. People are going to overthrow the government, and that's that. And then it's going to go back to crypto. Internet's back on. The switch is back on. Side tangent, but you know what I'm saying? Like stuff when people think like, oh, what happens if the internet, like, but now we're thinking too much. You know what I'm saying? Thinking you just worrying a little bit too much. You kind of worry. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's kind of like you know, you're sabotaging your own success when you think that way. So anyways, that's pretty much it. We're already 40 minutes into this video. I just want to tell you guys about that. So look, check it out. Go to go.hex.com. Actually, now look, check this out. And I'm going to tell you the truth. A lot of people, you know, wouldn't even tell you the truth, right? Look, if you want to get extra Hex, right? Listen, if you want to get Hex in general, you could go through go.hex.com or you could go through the adoption amplifier, right? I'm sorry, I just said the same thing. Go.hex.com is the adoption amplifier. You could go through go.hex.com or you could go through Uniswap to get Hex, right? Now, you're always going to get more Hex on Uniswap than you would on the adoption amplifier, right? The perks of going through the adoption amplifier is pretty much for like big whales. The perks are for the big whales, the people that are buying a lot of Hex, so they don't push the price up against themselves. They don't raise the price, end up paying more when they're buying all this Hex, right? Most likely that might not be you and me. I don't know. So it really doesn't matter if you buy Hex through either Uniswap or through the adoption amplifier. But like I said, it doesn't matter. You're always going to get more. You're always going to get more Hex on Uniswap. Okay? You're always going to get more Hex on Uniswap. But if you use, you'll get 30% more Hex on Uniswap, pretty much, right? But if you use, you have a referral code, and when you go to go.hex.com and you have your MetaMask set up, right? You already know all that stuff, because I'm assuming you're not super new, and if you are, then watch a few videos and then come back to this. But if you already know what I'm talking about, then you have your adoption amplifier, you have a referral code. When you go to go.hex.com, you have your own referral code. And when you have that referral code, you could use your own referral code, and you could get 32% more Hex in the adoption amplifier. So that offsets the imbalance from the Uniswap, right? Also, if you use somebody else's referral code and not yours, you'll get 10%, and they'll give the person whose referral code you use 20%. Okay, so that's still not the best way to go if you want to get the most Hex for your buck. You know what I'm saying? So that's just I just want to let you know that. Okay, a lot of people don't let people like like, you know, people would say, hey, just use my referral code and get 10% more. It's not really the case, and that's not the best way to get the most hex, because I got burnt that way. I didn't know any better when I first, but it's kind of my fault because I didn't look at the website thoroughly, which I should have. But I'm letting you know that right now, that hey, if you want to get the most hex, either use uniswap.com or self-refer on go.hex.com. Self-refer. Take that referral code, copy it, paste it in your URL browser, and it will go through. Now, if you want to thank me, right, for making any videos, or if I helped you out some type of way, and if you want to congratulate me with a you know, it doesn't have to be all your stakes, but if you want to, you know, hey, like take 10% from the stake that I do, then you could copy in the description down below. There's going to be a referral code there, and you could copy and paste that one into your browser, and you'll get 10% more hex from the adoption amplifier that you put in, and I'll get 20% just from you using my code. And then say, for example, you just want to give me that one-time little bonus, you know, a little tip for helping you out, then and you want to make more stakes, but you want to get the most, like I said, you can either go to Uniswap or you can self-refer. But if you do self-refer, just make sure you go to your cookies and you take my referral code out, okay? You want to go to cookies, go.hex. You want to go to your hex cookies, right? And you know, your cookies from the hex website, it's going to be an A and it's going to be an R in your cookies. You're going to want to go to A is your referral code, I believe. A is your referral code. R is the person's referral code that you use. So if it doesn't say the same one, that means you're using somebody else's referral code, right? So you want to make sure the one that's associated with A in your cookies, you're gonna see like it's like a little list, right? It's like a little list in your cookies when you go to in the cookies for hex, okay? So when you go to the cookies, you know, your internet settings, when you go to cookies, and when you go to the hex section of the cookies, there's going to be a little column, and then that column is like about like 6 rows, 7 rows or something. And one of those rows, the 2 bottom ones, I believe, is going to say A, it's going to say R. A is your referral code. R is the referral code that you're using, okay? A is your personal referral code. R is the referral code that you're using for your extra hex, okay, through the AA. So if those don't match up, that means you're using somebody's referral code. So if you used mine's, okay, if you did me that favor and used mine's the first time you got hex through the AA to get the extra 10% and to give me 20%, that means that A would be there, that my referral code would be sitting in A. Okay, so you'll have to, it'll be sitting in R. So you'll have to erase that and then use yours. Okay, I just want to make that clear. I want to be 100% transparent, so you know, and you know anybody else that knows, and you can tell everybody else the same thing. It doesn't matter. Or if you just want to say, hey, just use my referral code like everybody else does, that's cool too. It doesn't really matter. It's pretty much on your own moral values, all right? But that's it for this video, guys. It's getting dark out here. It's starting to get a little dark. Sun's going away, so I'm gonna go back to the crib. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Big payday, November 19th. Do your research. Do your research. Do your research. Watch a whole bunch of other videos on Hex. You know, watch Richard Hartz, the founder of Hex. Watch his videos. See what you like, see what you don't like, and make your best assessments on that. Watch other people that are in the Hex community. Watch their videos. They might touch on a little bit things more than other people do. So, you know, just pretty much watch everybody's videos in the whole Hex community and see what you can gather from it. You know what I'm saying? But make your own decision. You know what I'm saying? Don't have a fear of joining, but you kind of still want to have a little bit of fear because you don't want to miss out completely. You know what I'm saying? So even if you do have a little bit of fear of missing out, and you have a fear of getting scammed, I don't believe it's a scam, but if you have a fear of that, then okay, then just drop $100, $50. You know what I'm saying? Something small, you know, and then maybe, you know, hopefully Hex would be worth, for that to be something, hopefully it'll be worth like $20 or something, you know, or $100 or $1,000, you know what I'm saying? But just don't do anything. Just don't sit it out. Like I said, it's not financial advice, but I wouldn't sit it out. If somebody if I would have had a time machine for when Bitcoin was out, 2009, 2011, I would have went back. You know what I'm saying? I would have got Bitcoin. So, hey, this could be the Bitcoin. Who knows? Let's see what happens, all right? But that's it for this video, guys. You guys take care. Like I said, link is in the description if you want to use that referral code to help me out. You can do that. And, yeah, just get it. Get staked up, baby. Let's go. Peace.